Hey, everybody. Glad you're here with us on a Friday night. It's still draft time, draft season, of course. Got some preseason action going on, but there's always time to draft. So let's get into it for a PPR mock draft. You can join with us on Sleeper. Just click the link down below as soon as you see it in the comments, and you can get in here with us. First come, first serve. And this is going to be pretty much your typical PPR mock, though it's not too late. You can switch, Chris. I know you're torn up inside because you didn't get to do a non-PPR draft last night.
Did you even get enough people to join? Did you have to turn it into like a 6-team league?
We did, and there was some love being given to the non-PPR crowd. They're like, you know what? Sometimes it's okay to play in a non-PPR league. Like there shouldn't be a stigma behind it. Although you really should probably play at least full or half. But I get it, playing standard league. And then I had to mention how back in the day, we used to play in touchdown only leagues.
Yes, actually, a friend of mine plays in a touchdown only league.
I can't even imagine, but I mean, I guess we were young, we didn't know better. Yeah.
Well, plus back then it's not like it is today where like if you make a league on Yahoo or ESPN or any site, it at least defaults to half PPR. Like you have to actually actively go in and say, okay, we want touchdown only. Like you have to actually go in and change it. Back then, there were no site. You had to you'd like look at the newspaper on Monday morning, like, oh, he scored. Oh, he scored. You know what I mean? So a little different back then.
Oh yeah, no, it's easy now. It does it all for you. So let's let Sleeper do the work for us. But also the work will be done on the draft pilot because you might already know, and if you don't, well, this is a good time to get educated on the fact that we have an app. It's called Draft Lane, and if you use the Draft Lane app, there's a feature on there called Draft Pilot. It basically things for you and tells you who to draft.
Yes.
Now, it doesn't just spit out a name, but it will give you the top 3 options. It will recommend based on your roster. It updates live as your draft is going on. So it's basically like having us right next to you during your draft saying, hey, you should probably take this guy. And if you don't like whoever's at the top of the list, it even gives you 3 more alternate recommendations. And of course, ultimately, the choice is up to you. But it's just a great feature to have. If you want to do a draft, you want to do fantasy football, but you're stressed out about it, you're not quite sure what your strategy should be, or you just want an extra helping hand there, or if you just want to be on autopilot, just have us do the hard work for you.
That's like I do in these drafts. I just go on autopilot. I answer all the questions. I'm like, oh, I'm on the clock, and I hit the button on Draft Lane, and it gives me the top 3 options. I'm like, yeah, him, perfect. Boom, I pick him. It's awesome.
That's it. It's perfect for streaming and drafting. All right, we're full, right? We're good to go?
We're full. We got Yeet Man on the clock at the 101. We got Clayton up to the 5 today. Ronnie in here. Dan the Man. Anthony. Amal, of course. Other John. Let's do this.
All right, there you go. Get full PPR. 1 quarterback, 2 running back, 3 receiver, a tight end, a flex, and it's full PPR. And we have already a curveball. Bijan at the 1.
Bijan at the 1.
All right.
Hey, if he's your guy, get your guy. Wow, Ronnie CMC at the 3. Nice.
Yeah, you don't see that too often. Look, I don't hate it. I'm big on Bijan. Obviously, you are too. So yeah, get your guy.
Oh, I just realized I get to snipe you.
Oh yeah. So let's see. You're at the 8. I'm at the 9. Clayton's somehow in the top 5. That's weird. But you got Justin Jefferson.
All right, so I'm guessing based on who's off the board, it's going to tell me Breece Hall. And indeed, top pick Breece Hall, number 2, AJ Brown. Going Breece here.
So with those first 3 running backs off the board, best receiver available. I know I've been saying AJ Brown it's not my favorite pick here. It's either between him or Garrett Wilson still. It's a toss-up. I think I'm going to – no, actually, no, I'm not. You know what? Forget. I'm just going to go with Garrett Wilson.
All right.
Just stick with my guy. It's a mock. And then we are going to, again, talk about the Dotson deal, which I didn't say it's major, but it was surprising, and it definitely has some ramifications. Let's get to Juice up here.
All right, what's up,
Was
Juice?
first. Definitely wanted to make it known he was first on here about almost 2 hours ago. So now he's thinking of dropping Jahan Dotson to get one of the other Commanders' receivers. So here begs the question, would you rather have the number 3 receiver in Philly or whoever the number 2 receiver is in Washington? Of course, this assumes we actually know who the number 2 receiver is in Washington, but what do you think?
I'm taking McCaffrey. It sounds like what the Commanders are looking for is their slot wide receiver in that Kingsbury offense. And they were hoping it was going to be Dotson, and it just wasn't. I think McCaffrey is going to be that guy, actually. I don't have high hopes for Dotson in Philly. Yeah, better offense, but first of all, it's never a good sign when you have like 2 years left on your rookie deal and your team's already trying to trade you. And he's going to be clearly behind A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith, maybe even Dallas Goedert. So, I'm going McCaffrey personally.
Yeah, this one's interesting, which, by the way, I just realized I don't know if this has happened. 2-4, Gibbs fell to me. I will take him. Barkley, JT, and Kyron before him.
Gibbs is falling, and I can only assume it's the hamstring, even though isn't he back at practice this week? And Dan Campbell's like he's going to be fine, and he missed 2 games with a hamstring last year, came back and was great. Like, I don't know. I think it's just people nervous about the hamstring.
Last I heard, he's ready for week 1, so I'm not sure why he would fall, but all right, I'll take it.
He's definitely been falling.
Yeah, look at my thing in Dotson. Okay, first of all, De'Ami Brown. He's been there. Yeah. There's nothing. What are we waiting that it's going to happen with De'Ami Brown that hasn't happened already? What has he shown us? You're like, this is it. This is the guy. This is the year. Right. At least Dotson, he looked really good his rookie year, and he's supposed to be good last year. It just didn't happen. I'm not going to lie. He was bad during the year last season, even though he got so much hype in the preseason. I don't know if it was just. And look, it might be something didn't click with the enemy. Obviously, the coaching staff is different now. Quarterback's different. Everything's different in Washington. It wasn't just Jahan Dotson. I don't think he was the only problem there. I know he wasn't the only problem there. I'm going to take the guy who's in the better offense. And if I was convinced that McCaffrey was ready, I would go McCaffrey. And I know that some people have thrown out that, he's just a stud waiting to happen. I don't know. He wasn't one of my favorite prospects. Neither. He wasn't one of yours either, right? In the preseason, the pre-draft process, he didn't jump out and you're like, this is it. This is a guy,
No, but opportunity is a big thing. And if he's going to get that slot role, and here's the other thing. If the preseason is any indication to the type of offense we're going to see, it's going to be a lot of quick passes, which it probably needs to be because the offensive line isn't very good. So I think they're going to run a ton of 3 wide receiver sets. This just makes me even higher on Terry McLaurin. I think this guy could be one of the leaders in targets this year. But I think McCaffrey is the guy he's the guy they drafted. I think they like him. They're going to put him in the slot. And I think opportunity is going to be enough for him. It's not like I don't think McCaffrey's going to be a league winner or anything, but I just – what is Dot? I mean, even if you told me Dotson's the wide receiver 3 in Philly, okay, what is that? Like, what is that fantasy-wise? What is the wide receiver 3 in Philly?
Well, yeah, the upside is definitely limited because he's behind 2 incredible receivers already. All right, by the way, you're on the clock now.
Speaking of which, I'm about to take one of them. Although, man, it's actually really the app says Smith and then DJ Moore, and it's really close between these 2 guys. But I do really like Smith. I'm gonna go Smith.
All right. Well, saying the same. I've got a same builds. You took Smith, I'll take more.
Yeah, it's really close between those two guys, honestly.
Yeah. In the end of the day, Jahan Dotson, number 3 receiver now on a team with many weapons, and then McCaffrey or Brown, whoever, number 2 in Washington. I don't see either one being a league winner. I've actually seen someone, very reputable fantasy analyst, throw out that someone he knows, I think it was Joe Dolan or someone, kept saying repeatedly that this year's Puka Nacua will be Luke McCaffrey. I don't see it. I don't see it. But look, I guess it's worth taking a shot on late, but I don't see it.
I mean, there probably won't be a this year's Puka, let's be real, but
exactly.
Yeah.
Not the same type of player, not the same offense, but anyways. This is what then the other interesting thing is. Did Washington do this to clear some room? Tristram is very active tonight here and dropping a very non too subtle hint at who it might be. By the way, my turn. I'm going to just go ahead and continue with T. Higgins.
Nice, good pick. The app tells me Josh Allen's a good value here. Laporta's a good value here, and I agree on both. Otherwise, we're looking at James Cook or Trey McBride. I mean, I don't feel like I need to go QB this early. All right, let's go. Let's go with. No, all right. Let's just take the QB. Let's just take the QB value.
There you go. So here it is.
Yeah.
But just when you thought it was over, just when you thought we were done talking about Brandon Aiyuk, I mean, is this just people wanting this to happen?
Yes.
Is this wild speculation? Yeah,
yes.
Probably.
Because here's the thing. The 49ers travel to whatever team they're playing today in preseason. And it's basically they're using it as a dress rehearsal for week 1, which means everybody, all the starters are there. They're not necessarily all playing, but they're all there. Brandon Aiyuk traveled with the 49ers. I don't think Brandon Aiyuk is going to travel with the team if he knows he's about to get traded to the Commanders. Like, what's the point? So no, he's gonna be a 49er. He's gonna be a 49er.
Yeah, I think it's pretty clear. If what he really wanted was to go somewhere else, that could have been done a long time ago.
Yes.
He didn't want to leave. He wanted to get paid. And he would rather get paid by San Fran than to get paid in Cleveland or New England or someplace he really doesn't want to be. So, and then Pittsburgh, I mean, come on. Is that really better? Yeah. Let's just kill this noise. Let's do an actual question here. Paper, what's up?
What's up, Paper?
Welcome back. Doing my draft, 10-man PPR. Wondering if he should prioritize a running back first because it's a 10-man league. He's got the pick number 6.
8-team, 10-team, 12-team, 14-team, 16-team, 100-team. I'm not prioritizing any position simply because of the league size. I may prioritize positions because of league settings, but I'm not doing it because of league size. So no, I don't care. And again, when we're talking first round, I don't care what size your league is. I'm just taking the player I think is the best player. And then that, based on who I get in the first round, unless it's like you're in some, like, well, let me make this pick. But unless you're in like a league where, it's so, man, are all these? Yeah, I guess so. Wide receivers flying off the board tonight, huh? Unless you're in a league that just like begs you to go 0 RB, like you're in a full PPR, 3 wide receiver, 2 or 3 flex league, okay, then maybe I say I'm going to take a wide receiver in round 1 no matter what. But that's pretty much it. Or if you're in like a touchdown only or a non-PPR league, then yeah, I'm going running back no matter what in round 1 pretty much. Outside of that, I'm just taking the best player. If it's a running back, great. If it's not, okay. And the thing is, in 10 team, like I really don't like 10 team. Find running backs on the waiver wire every week.
Well, yeah. The league size shouldn't necessarily determine how you draft. It's the league type, and so we talked about that with the standard draft. Yeah, you want to prioritize running back. It doesn't mean you absolutely have to draft a running back in the first round. Just like if you're doing super flex, doesn't mean you have to take a quarterback in the first round. It's a good idea, but you could still take a stud receiver and then just wait for a quarterback in round 2. But anyways, no, you take the best available. It might be a running back, but it definitely doesn't have to be.
Right.
And then let's see, another one, draft tomorrow, Big Rod. Draft tomorrow, full PPR. Should I take Hill or Lamb or someone else? So I'm assuming you got the number 1 pick or the number 2 pick. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, probably number 2. I'm okay if you want to go Tyreek Hill. I'm not nervous that CeeDee Lamb is going to hold out or anything. But this is it. This is the last preseason game. A week from Thursday, the season starts. Like, this guy has had I know he doesn't need to learn the playbook or whatever because it's the same offense, but this guy has, okay, you could be working out on your own with your trainers or whatever, but that's not the same. That's not NFL game speed. That's not getting your body ready for an NFL game. Like, I'm not dropping like CeeDee Lamb super far, but I think if I have the choice between Lamb and Hill, I'll just give me Hill. Just give me Hill. I know he can be just as good or better than Lamb, and I don't have to even stress about it. Just give me Hill.
Yeah, I hear you. It's not that you're worried per se about Lamb or dropping him in the rankings, but it basically you're eliminating that potential risk. What if he's, I don't want to say rusty. I mean, come on, he's how old? He shouldn't be rusty, but not quite on the same page early in the season. Maybe doesn't, take as many snaps as usual in week 1 or 2 because he wasn't out there as much. Maybe, the one thing you should worry more about is what if an injury crops up because he wasn't 100% game shape because he missed the games and training camps, part of it, those things. I worry more about that with Jamar Chase because that dude is always banged up. So I understand that. I mean, what argument is there against Tyreek Hill? Really, there's none.
I'm not sure people realize prior to his ankle injury in week 14, which look, we've seen ankle injuries derail guys for weeks. Tyreek Hill was head and shoulders better than even Christian McCaffrey last year. Like, he was averaging over 2 points per game more than Christian McCaffrey before his ankle injury in week 14. So he's got just as much or more upside of CeeDee Lamb, and there's no risk of, will he be out there week 1 or not? Or, is he, like you said, are they going to limit his snaps because, they don't feel like he's quite in the shape he needs to be in yet? Because, again, it's one thing to be doing workouts at your local high school with your coach or whatever, and it's another thing to be at the facility every day with your teammates, doing joint practices, going up against your own defense, that type of stuff. So just give me Hill.
And so I just now noticed, because I'm starting to look down at the other comments, he said he's got the number 2 pick. Okay, so that makes sense. You take Hill if he's there, and if I guess Hill went number 1, well, then you just take CMC. Yes. But now part 2 is he's asking who to look for on the way back. Well, if you took a receiver, it doesn't mean you need a running back on the way back. You could go like what Tony did here at the 2. He went Hill and Henry. I got no problem with that. But I mean, I think the short answer is just still best available.
Yes, that's the thing. It's hard to say who to take on the way back to number 2. We need to know. Well, in this case, we do need to know your league size, because if it's a 10-team league, there's gonna be different players coming back than a 14-teamer or a 12-teamer. Also, what side are you on? Because that makes a big difference. Because this time of year, I'm looking a lot at different ADPs to make videos for, like, okay, if you draft on ESPN, do this. If you draft on Yahoo, do this. And it's way different. It's way different. So that's where the Draft Lane app can really come in handy. because it will tell you if your league is sleeping on some guys and letting them fall. It'll let you know. If it feels it's gonna typically in round 2 in most leagues, it's gonna just say, hey, take the best player available, which is what we're gonna recommend. But it'll help you identify who that is. So,
right, like if you start right here, like again, we see in this draft the number 2, Hill and Henry. I think that's a smash start. Even if it's like Hill Pacheco, that's solid too. You could get another receiver. It could be a Nico, an Aiyuk, maybe London falls. I think all of those are fine.
Yes.
Retro classic arcade, the best kind.
Nice.
Who do you like here between Waddle, Metcalf, Pacheco, and Allen in PPR?
This is an interesting list.
If it's Keenan, Allen, probably gotta be last here.
Oh, I was thinking Josh Allen. Yeah, Keenan makes more sense. I think in PPR I go Waddle, Pacheco, Metcalf, Allen would be my order.
Yeah, I'm going Waddle first out of this group. And you'll see Pacheco drafted before Waddle sometimes, but I'd rather go Waddle. All right, you're on the clock.
Yes. And the app is saying take a running back, take Zamir White, although it's Hollywood Brown still on the board. But let's go with Zamir. I like to just follow the app and see what kind of team it drafts me and make sure it's drafting me teams that I'm actually happy with. Which so far, so good. Every draft I've done, I've loved my team so far.
I hope so. That's good. Okay, I'm gonna somewhat reluctantly follow the advice. I mean, I don't have a quarterback. I could wait for a quarterback just because I have very little Joe Burrow, and it is a mock, and I have T. Higgins. Let's go Joe Burrow. Okay, how about this? PJ Nasty wants to know between Adams or Deebo.
Deebo. I think they're both going to be pretty volatile this year. But we know Deebo in that San Francisco 49ers offense can get you 30, 35 points on any given week. I'm really worried about Adams. Well, I mean, I was worried about him with Aiden O'Connell. I'm really worried about him with Minshew because people are going to say, well, look at Pittman last year. Pittman was good with Minshew. Pittman ran, let me pull it up here. Like, Pittman was asked to run such basic, simple routes with Minshew, which is why I'm starting to come around on Jacoby Myers now.
Exactly. That's why you like Jacoby Myers now.
So if you look at Michael Pittman last year, come on. My computer always runs so slow. All right, so he ran, if you look at not his success, but just the amount of routes he ran, almost 30% of his routes were a slant, and another 20% were curls. That's 50% of his routes were just slants and curls. And then his next highest route was a dig route. So just very, very layup type throws because of Gardner Minshew. So you're going to lose all that deep game from Adams because, like, I joke that call Minshew noodle arm, but he truly has a noodle arm. He has one of the weakest arms of any. He's got to have one of the weakest arms of any starting QB.
Yeah.
I feel like Addison might be the best value here, but I just talked up. All right, I feel like it's too soon. Or I could go, I don't often draft this guy, but I feel like it's good value here. It's suggesting wide receiver, but it says Kittle is also a good pick, so I'm going to go Kittle. Yeah, so I just think you're going to lose all those deep games from Adams. So just give me. I'm just really off Adams. Give me Deebo.
Yeah, my answer is Deebo too. I'm not completely off of Adams, but But yeah, I think you got to put Deebo a little bit higher here. Okay, and then we got Kitchen DLZ picking 8th. 1 running back, 2 receivers. Running back, receiver. Okay. Okay, I'm trying to decipher. He says, I feel like at the 8th pick, I won't be able to pick up a consistent QB and tight end.
Well, I'm not saying your draft is going to go this way, and it probably won't because QBs generally go much earlier in other drafts. But I mean, from the 8th, I have Josh Allen and George Kittle. And from the 9, Pierre has Kincaid and Burrow. But of course, QBs may go fast. But I mean, are you asking Travis Kelce in round 1? Like, I don't take Travis Kelce in round 1, please.
I'm trying to figure out, he's trying to break down, like, he thinks maybe in round 1 he'll get a running back, in round 2 a receiver, in round 3 Kelce, in round 4 a quarterback. Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to figure that out.
I'm not taking Kelce in round 3. I would consider QB in round 4 if one of the elite ones are still there, like Hurts, like Allen, like Mahomes, like Lamar, but not Kelce in round 3.
No. All right. Amal's got a question. Having a hard time ranking between Pickens, Kirk, Terry, Deontay, and Ridley. And I feel you because those guys are all very close together. Does Terry now take the lead here?
Yeah, this is actually I'll say there's like 2 tiers for me. There's a Pickens, Terry, Deontay tier, and then there's the Kirk Ridley tier. I know we're gonna differ on this one.
Well, I've been trying to keep on top of the rankings. Let me just tell you, without having to think about it, I'll just be transparent, tell you how I have these guys ranked on my Fantasy Pros ranking right now. Not that it's perfect. I got Pickens, and then now I moved Terry barely up. So I got Pickens, Terry, Kirk, Deontay, Ridley.
Yeah, I think I go Pickens, Terry, Deontay, Kirk, Ridley.
But again, the difference between those guys is razor thin. I would be happy with all of them, honestly. Those are all guys I'm trying to draft this year. So I don't think it matters too much exactly how you have them ranked. You know, I mean, you're going to get 1, maybe 2 of them if you're lucky in the same range, and that's it. So whoever's available, that's just what you got to go with. All right. Your turn to snipe me?
Yes.
Okay. Actually, that wasn't too bad because I need a running back.
No, I don't need a running back.
I go on anchor clearly. I know Pollard is the highest one. That's what the app says. And then we got, I can't wait for Brooks because I need someone who actually can play. I like Gus. I don't love Pollard, but I'll go Pollard.
Yeah, I think Pollard's fine there.
Yeah. I think if nothing else, I feel like even though we know for a fact Pollard Spears, it's a split, almost even split. Same thing with Zach Moss, Chase Brown. But I know that they're going to catch passes, both of them, both Pollard and Spears, going to catch a lot of screens, and that's giving them a floor. All right, Nathaniel Samuel got an interesting trade here. Offered Jalen Hurts and Malik Neighbors for Nico Collins. 2 for 1. That seems like too much. You were offered or you offered? That's what I'm wondering. You're saying I just offered, like, okay. Well, I'll just say this. I'm not real big on Neighbors, but I'm not going to do Jalen Hurts and Malik Neighbors just to get Nico. I'd rather have those 2.
Yeah, I'd rather have those 2. So if you make this trade, you get Hurts and Neighbors, but then you also have Kyler?
And you got Chase, Devontae, and Odunze.
I mean, I still want the Hurts neighbors side, but I want to know, like, what are you gonna do now? You're gonna have Hurts and Kyler.
You flip Hurts for something else.
Yeah, I guess try to trade Hurts or Kyler for a running back or a wide receiver or something. I want to know the guy who offered you Hurts and neighbors. Who is his other or her other QB that they can just be like, yeah, I don't need you. And again, I asked the same question.
Yeah, who knows?
You drafted neighbors. You drafted Hurts. Why are you now trying to? Don't draft them. Why are you trying to trade them already? Like, why did you draft them? You're gonna just turn around and trade them. Draft somebody else. What is going on?
Yeah, I mean the way it's worded is he says I just offered. Now, if you meant that you were offered,
he said he meant to say he got offered.
Okay, well, there you go. So the other girl is trying to do this, which who knows, whatever. Got off. Okay, thank you. That helps. Got offered Hurts and neighbors for Nico. I take it.
Yeah, take it, and then just try to trade Kyler or Hurts and get something really good in return for them. Or if you can't trade him, it's fine, because if something happens to Hurts, you have Kyler.
Yeah, you just later in the season you can go for needs, but right now nothing's happened. You don't know what your situation will be, so you take the value. A 2-for-1 where you get two really good players. Yeah.
And that's the thing. Look, right now, maybe you can't trade Hurts and Kyler because maybe everybody in your league is like, I like my QB. And obviously whoever traded you Hurts must have two QBs they like. So, but when injuries start happening and then, somebody's staring down, Sam Darnold as their QB1, Kyler starts looking pretty good.
Mm-hmm. All right, Michael. 10-man PPR league draft next Saturday. Got the 8th pick. He says he's getting Jefferson for sure.
Okay.
All right. I guess you know that nobody else wants him. Hey, take him. That's great. Okay, so now the question is, would you take Garrett Wilson in round 2 or a running back like Henry or Barkley?
I mean, if Garrett Wilson is there, I'm taking Garrett Wilson. This is a guy who routinely goes late first, early second. So if you can get Jefferson, Garrett Wilson, absolutely. I will say there's also a chance I've seen, and we saw it tonight, Jahmyr Gibbs falling as well. So if Garrett Wilson isn't there, Gibbs might be there as well. But Jefferson, Wilson, or Jefferson, Gibbs would be a great start.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really even need to answer this because you saw what I did. I'm at the 9 today, and I took Garrett Wilson. So I clearly am okay with this. I would love to take Garrett Wilson in the round 2 after getting Jefferson. Yeah, I would do this. If Gibbs falls, though, yeah, I would take that first, though. Thank you, Big Rod, by the way, and from the earlier question.
Thank you.
Appreciate you. Right, NMB, always in the house. All right, so on ESPN, he's saying that RBs typically shoot up. Guys like James Cook and Mixon go early in the 3rd. Would you pass to take wide receivers or wait and go with the trend?
Well, NMB, funny you mentioned that. I just recorded a video specifically for ESPN where I told you exactly who I would take if I had an early pick, a middle pick, or a late pick for every single round. I said, this is the player I would want. This is the player I would want. And I don't just draft like the best player. I literally try to draft like the best team, knowing like, okay, here's where I can get QB, here's where I can get tight end, and I still like my team. Yeah, running backs definitely go much higher on that platform, and QBs go ridiculous high. Like, it's ridiculous. But still, I'm not gonna reach and take Joe Mixon in the 3rd just to get a running back. That's for sure. So, take the awesome wide receivers. They fall to you. There's still good running backs later on in the draft. But on Monday, that video will drop. So hopefully you don't draft for Monday. You can check it out.
True. But you don't have to follow the crowd just because everyone else is taking a running back. That's the time you get better value at wide receiver.
Are these really the best running backs left? Wow, they really are.
I know, and I was hoping I would get Rico to fall to me. Obviously not. And that was the next guy I was hoping for. All right. We got another super chat. It is, let's see, Tristram.
What's up, Trist?
What's up, Trist? In 20 team. That's right. 20 team head to head. Trist, do you play in any just like casual league? Oh no, I know you do. Actually, he said last night he plays in one 10-team league. But then he plays in all sorts of insane leagues like this. 20 team head to head. Okay, accepted a trade for JT, Addison, and Ertz for London, Pitts, and Chase Brown. Okay, thoughts?
I like the London, Pitts, Chase Brown side. Who's on the clock?
Oh, I was like, is that me timing out?
No, it's Anthony.
Right.
Okay, but he picked. I like the London, Pitts, Chase Brown side, which I think is the side you traded away.
He said that he accidentally got a second tight end, so I guess that's why he traded away Pitts because he already had Kincaid. But is JT Addison worth more than London, Pitts, and Chase Brown? Ertz is just like a backup, right? That's fine.
Yeah, JT London. Okay, probably prefer JT, especially in a 20-teamer. Having like a stud running back is going to be hard to come by. Addison, Pitts, just give me Pitts. And then Chase Brown, Ertz, definitely give me Chase Brown. I don't know. Ertz. I know you're a Washington guy, and I know Ertz is getting good buzz, but I don't know how many games Ertz going to really last.
Well, I mean, hopefully he's never starting him, but let's see. Okay. Yeah, can't draft Kendrick Miller anymore. Dennis Allen might come hunt me down and find me.
Jeez. You know what? Let's do it.
Where would it? Oh, hey, there you go. I guess he hasn't shot up the rankings yet. Not that he needs to, but I would say I understand the thought process behind this. London, Pitts, I mean, low-end wide receiver one, hopefully, right? And then a starting stud tight end, and then a hopefully usable RB2 on a weekly basis. You get that stud running back. It comes down to Addison. If we just assume Addison puts up similar numbers to last year and doesn't get a long suspension or any suspension, which wouldn't surprise me, I think this could work out in the favor for both sides. If JT has a monster year, which he should, I think this is fine for you. You know, in a vacuum, if you ask me which side I would take, I would probably lean toward the London Pitt side. But I think for your situation, this could work out. So I think it's fine.
Yeah, people saying they can't see the.
Oh yeah, sorry. Let's.
And then Kitchen Diz is his follow up to his Kelsey question. He's saying he wants to go Kelsey round 2, QB round 3. That way, have a well-rounded and high performing players. No. I'm definitely not doing Kelsey round 2, and round 3 is too early for QB for me personally. If your league goes super early tight end, super early QB, great. Take the wide receiver, running back value, and get a tight end and QB a little earlier.
And actually, this follows up one. I can't remember the exact title, but one thing we talked about, things that the experts don't do, right? You don't have to have the top or one of the top quarterbacks. You don't have to have one of the top tight ends. You can still win by streaming the position like that or waiting. In fact, a lot of times waiting on tight end and or quarterback turns out to be better. So you really don't need a high-end quarterback or a tight end. And that's why a lot of times you'll see in these mocks, we'll wait for both of them. So Yeah, that's kind of the opposite of what I would do. I definitely wouldn't take Kelsey in round 2.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. If I'm going tight end early, it's not Kelsey. We've seen the best of Kelsey already. Like, will Kelsey still be fine this year? Probably. Will you be happy you drafted him in round 2? Probably not.
No. Like if you really want a stud tight end, wait 2, maybe 3 rounds later. Who knows about your league? Take Trey McBride, take Dalton Kincaid. You still get a really good tight end. Wait another round or 2. Get Evan Engram. Keith pointed out earlier, so I didn't put it up, but Keith's saying, why are we taking Kittle after George? Why are we taking George Kittle after Kyle Pitts? People are still in on Pitts. I'm still in on Pitts, and there's reasons for that. But yeah, George Kittle is just going in the mid rounds now. Just wait on him. You just don't need to have the first tight end off the board. All right, I guess I'll take one more receiver. Just because.
Dotson. I went McCaffrey, you went Dotson.
Exactly. There you go. Got a couple more picks here, so we'll go with the teams real quick. Jake Cho, I don't know if that's how you say this. Thoughts on trading for Aiyuk and Pickens if I'm giving up Neighbors and Rice?
I'm probably okay with it. I like Rice, but I like Aiyuk and Pickens enough. I'm very nervous about Neighbors, so I'll take Aiyuk and Pickens.
I'm taking Aiyuk Pickens side for sure there. So yeah, definitely okay with that. All right, Other John took his last guy, and we are done. Let's go over these teams. All right, so team 1 is Yeetman. Yeetman, this is just a mock. I know it looked like it was an official league, but that's just because we use it to run the draft pilot like it's a real draft, which, by the way, any real draft that you do on Sleeper or Yahoo will sync up with the draft pilot on Draft Lane. So just so you know that, we always do these so that we can see our own favorite picks. Let's see who Yeetman got at number 1. Went Bijan at the 1-1. Nothing wrong with that. Then went Devonta Adams, Cooper Kupp, and then Alvin Kamara. Thoughts on the follow-up there?
This team went from very young to very old in a hurry.
Yeah, very, league winner 3-4 years ago. That's the only thing. But let's keep going. Calvin Ridley, Najee Harris, Raheem Mostert, DeAndre Swift, Jordan Addison, Eckler, Judy, JD, and Dalton Schultz.
It's a mixed bag for me. I mean, there's certainly players like Bijan, Najee, Mostert that I like. Daniels. There's a lot. I mean, running back behind Bijan is Kamara and Najee. I mean, yeah. Adams, Kupp, Ridley as my 3 wide receivers. Not exciting me. I don't know. This team is okay. I just feel like this is more of a floor team.
Yeah, I'm thinking I'm not off of Adams. I'm kind of off of Kupp, at least that early. I'm pretty much off Kamara. But again, it's not like they're unserved. They're not toast or anything like that. But I prefer not to get a player who's already had his career year past his prime, which makes it sound kind of disrespectful, but it's just true. Cooper Kupp will never have a season like he had a couple of years ago. I can guarantee that. Alvin Kamara won't probably be a league winner like he was a couple of years ago. So it's fine. Like you said, more floor than ceiling.
Yeah.
All right, Tony, we talked about his start already. The Hill, Henry, it's very nice. Then got Evans, Kirk, Rice, JSN. That's nice too. Aaron Jones, David Njoku, Jordan Love, Singletary, Hubbard, Chandler, and Demarcus Robinson.
I like a lot of this team. I mean, Tyreek, Evans, Kirk, Rice, and JSN as your 5 wide receivers gives you tons of weekly upside. Derrick Henry is your RB1. Aaron Jones fine as an RB2. Singletary, Chuba, They're serviceable if you need them early on. Chandler, we'll see. I'm starting to lose a little hope in Chandler. I do like DeMarcus Robinson last pick, so definitely like this team.
I love this team. I'll be interested to see if there's another team that I like better. I mean, again, waited on tight end and QB, but not till the very last round. Got very solid players there. Great receiver core. Aaron Jones as a number 2 running back, still totally fine. So I'm very happy with this. Ronnie at the 3. I think he liked this pick. Christian McCaffrey. It's pretty good. And then you got Olave, Nico, and Cooper. McBride, Keenan Allen, Kyler Murray, B-Rob, Shakir, Corum, Leggett, Burton, Allen.
All right, very rookie heavy to finish. I like a lot of these picks though. Like CMC with B-Rob as your RB2 is fine. A couple handcuffs behind him with Corum and Allen, but they've got upside. Olave, Nico, Cooper, Keenan is your wide receiver 4. Flex is fine. Shakir, Leggett, Burton. So potentially you got the McBride Murray stack. So again, another very good team there.
Yeah, I mean, I just finished saying how much I like Team 2. I think I like this one about as much. So, so far a good start. What about number 4, Diesel Power? Got CeeDee Lamb there. Pacheco, Waddle, James Cook, Godwin, Ingram, Ramondre, Dobbs, Dak, Gus the Bus, Rashid Shaheed, Gabe Davis, and Antonio Gibson.
I was gonna say this is like our guys here until you took Gabe Davis and Antonio Gibson. But I mean, up to that point, this draft is very good. Like Lamb, Waddle, Godwin as your 3 wide receivers, fantastic. Pacheco and James Cook as your 2 running backs, fantastic. Ingram and Dak as your QB and tight end, fantastic. Stevenson and Gus as your backup running backs, fantastic. Dobbs, Shaheed, Gabe, okay, fine. I think this might be my favorite team so far, actually.
This is getting pretty tough, very competitive. I mean, I don't know. This is, all good draft so far. Let's see if it continues. It's, by the way, let's do a couple of quick questions here. Then we answer this one quickly. Wyatt wants to know: are you targeting Chubb or Hawkinson?
No. Hawk probably not going to be back till halfway through the season, and there's no Kirk Cousins. There's not even a JJ McCarthy anymore. No thanks. Chubb, no. Coming back off that major knee injury. I mean, I don't even know. Yeah, no, I'm not.
No need to draft these guys. We're going to do nothing for you the first half of the season, and we don't know how good they're going to be the second half. So just don't draft based on name value. And then Shane Sylvia, a regular here in Dynasty, traded Swift and Ridley for Najee McLaurin in Dynasty.
I like it. I mean, I think McLaurin is somehow younger than Ridley, believe it or not.
I think he is, yeah.
And Najee Swift seems pretty even to me, which is crazy to think. Like 2 years ago, Swift was like a top 5 dynasty running back, and now it's like, So I like the Najee McLaurin side.
Yeah, this is pretty close. I don't think there's a huge difference on either side. All right, let's go to, who was that? It's Clayton. Clayton landed his guy Aiyuk in round 2 after Justin Jefferson, Pittman, and then went Jacobs, Kenneth Walker, Javonte Williams, Stroud and Ferguson, Jacoby, Vidal, Devontae Wicks, Dontavian Wicks, Marshawn Lloyd, and then Jaleel McLaughlin.
All right, so Jefferson, Aiyuk, Pittman as your 3 wide receivers is probably the best first 3 wide receivers we've seen so far. Jacobs, Walker, Javonte as your running backs is very good. Stroud and Ferguson, then Jacoby, Vidal, Wicks, Lloyd, McLaughlin. Again, another very strong team. I mean, I guess between Javonte and Myers, you should be okay at flex. So, yeah, another very good. It's 4 in a row, 4 good ones in a row.
You know, it's interesting, even though this is full PPR 3 receiver league, this is the only team that drafted 3 straight receivers and nobody went 0 RB at all. That's unusual because we have a lot of the same people in here. Just, I don't know why. Definitely the best 3 receivers out of any team. 3 very solid running backs. Solid at quarterback and tight end. Yeah, I can't complain about this team. Sorry. NMB went Chase and Deebo, Etienne, Kelsey, Mahomes. All right. And then Watson, Conkey, Monty, Jalen Polk, Trey Benson, J.K. Dobbins, Jalen McMillan, and Ray Davis.
All right. So Chase, Deebo, Watson, McConkey, plenty of upside at wide receiver. Got Etienne, Monty, Benson, Benson, Dobbins, Davis. I mean, I don't mind Davis and Benson, honestly. I guess Dobbins is okay. Like, we'll see. It looks like he's the RB2 for whatever that's worth for however long that lasts. You got the Mahomes Kelsey stack. So, again, I think hard to find things not to really like about this team. A lot of good players on here, a lot of upside. So, another good one.
Yeah. I mean, this won't be out of all the teams here my favorite because Kelsey. It's not even just that Kelsey run 4. Okay, fine, but I don't want to be the first to take a tight end, and if so, it's not Kelsey. And then taking tight end and quarterback early, that's not the formula I want to use. So good picks individually, just not my favorite roster makeup overall. And then we got Dan the Man. Took Amon-Ra St. Brown and then Devon Achane, DK, Malik Neighbors, Laporta and AR, Brian Thomas, Jalen Warren, Chase Brown, AD Mitchell, Rico Dowdle, Demario Douglas, and Tyrone Tracy.
All right, I'll say, Sun God there is obviously great. I like HM, but I'd prefer if I can get HM in the 3rd. Like, I would still prefer running backs like Pacheco and Derrick Henry over HM personally, but if he's your guy, he's your guy. You got Sun God, Metcalf, Neighbors. I guess Neighbors. At least you got Brian Thomas too. Oh, wow. Just wrote Brian Thomas, 80 mid. A lot of rookies. A lot of rookie wide receivers. Yeah, I'm a little nervous about the wide receivers. Laporta at the 5'7" is fantastic. How is Laporta the 3rd tight end off the board?
Yeah, that's unusual, but I guess you never know.
And then behind Achane, you have Jalen Warren, Chase Brown, Rico Dowdle, Tracy. It's not terrible, actually. Yeah, I can't. It's a good team. It's not a bad team by any stretch, but I can't say it's up there with the top team so far.
Agree. It's you definitely have upside at receiver. That's good. Brian Thomas as your 4th. Okay, that's fine. Mitchell, iffy, but it's the running back depth that to me is a little more iffy. Warren is just more of a floor play. Chase Brown, I do like. Rico, I like, but it's just a little riskier. Definitely riskier. The whole second half of this draft was a little riskier. All right. You went with Breece Hall as your anchor because then you went Drake London, Devontae Smith, Josh Allen, Deontay Johnson, Romo Dunze. Then you got Zeus, Kittle, Brandon Cooks, Darnell Mooney, Jalen Wright, Luke McCaffrey, the new wide receiver 2 for Washington, and Tank Bigsby. What do you think?
Yeah. I mostly like it, of course. I think where I took Kittle, it actually wanted me to go running back. And I think it recommended Monty, Swift, maybe Warren. And I don't really like those running backs. So I just took the value with Kittle there. But now looking at it, I feel like I probably needed another running back at some point, even though Breece Hall and Zamir White, I'm not worried about them at all. 2 workhorse running backs. But then only having Jalen Wright and Tank Bigsby behind him could be an issue, but can work the waiver wire there. I love my wide receivers. I got really good value on Kittle. I got an elite QB, so I would be more than happy with this team if this was a real league.
Yeah, like Keith pointed out, Kittle there is pretty good value. And there's not a single running back I think that jumps out at you. You have to draft Monty here, and this is your 3rd running back, so take the stud tight end. I think that's good. So, yeah, I would be happy with this team also. I think it's very solid. Before we get to my team, let's do this. Frank Pugliese, if you're still here, I got a quick question. A non-PPR, there you go. Keeper league, though. He's saying he's tanked last year, so he has picks 1, 3, and 4. Okay. So pick 3 of these guys in a non-PPR league. JT, JJ, CeeDee Lamb, Tyreek, and Marvin Harrison Jr.
Well, I guess because the other guys have already been kept. You got to take JT.
Yeah.
I guess Tyreek and CeeDee.
That's what I was thinking too.
Yeah. JT, Tyreek, and CeeDee. Although, man, I really would want more running backs in non-PPR, but
guessing they're all already keepers.
Yeah, they're probably all already kept.
JT isn't, but who knows? All right. There you go. Definitely take JT. I mean, it's not like JJ would be a bad pick at all, but anyways. All right. I took Garrett Wilson and then landed Jahmyr Gibbs, followed with DJ Moore, T. Higgins, Kincaid, Worthy, Burrow, D Hop, Pollard, Zach Moss, Bucky Irving, Justice Hill, Jahan Dotson.
I mean, Garrett Wilson, Jahmyr Gibbs is a great start. DJ Moore. So Wilson, DJ Moore, T. Higgins, Worthy, Hopkins. I mean, Hopkins is your wide receiver 5, I guess is fine. Surprised he didn't go Dobbs over Hopkins, though.
I almost did.
Kincaid, Burrow is great. Gibbs, Pollard, and Moss should be fine. Because, again, like Pollard, okay, maybe the number 1 in the 50-50. But Moss, I feel like, is going to start the year as the lead back. Then you got a couple handcuffs. So, yeah, again, not much to complain about here, if anything. I mean, D-Hop might be the only pick I'm complaining. Maybe Dotson at the end, but whatever.
Yeah, like Monty was the number 1 running back on the board there, but I already had Gibbs. It didn't really make sense for me to take Monty. In retrospect, I could have taken Brian Robinson, but I don't think a huge difference. Anthony wants everyone to know that you sniped him in the 3rd and 5th round. But yes, it will happen in your draft. You definitely will not get all the players you think you're going to get or want to get. But is this no way? That can't be your first draft. You've been drafted with us, hasn't he?
No, I think it's his first draft. Anthony is too focused on baseball this year.
Wow. Okay, well, that's what it is. I always see him on the streams, but maybe his first actual draft. Wow. Okay, well, here we go, Anthony. You said you got snapped around 3 and 5. Let's see. You went AJ Brown, Kyron, and then Jalen Hurts, Stephon Diggs, Mark Andrews, Joe Mixon, Hollywood, Sutton, Palmer, Lockett, Michael Wilson, Charbonnet, and Nick Chubb.
All right. I mean, AJ Brown, yeah. I'm taking Gibbs over Kyron personally, but I guess if Kyron's your guy, it's fine. Hurts at the 310 again. I don't want to take QB that early. But like if he had taken, say, Zay Flowers or Tank Dell and then got Hurts, would it be that? I mean, probably. Yeah, I'm also not really in on Diggs. Andrews fine there. Mixon fine there. Hollywood good value. Sutton, Palmer, Lockett, Michael Wilson, Sharbs. And okay, if you want to take a shot on Chubb, go for it. Yeah, it's just Gibbs over Kyron for me. I'm not taking a QB that early. But the rest of it's fine.
I think I'm more okay with the Hurts pick than the Diggs pick. But look, we might be wrong on Diggs, right? Maybe he's going to thrive. Maybe he has his best season yet with CJ Stroud. Who knows? So yeah, like you did stack. You got AJ Brown and Jalen Hurts. I mean, that's definitely nothing wrong with that. Running back depth is a little sketchy. I'll just put it that. That's the main thing. But you do have some high-end players early on. Amal went Marvin Harrison Jr. at the 11. Barkley, Pickens, Terry. Rashad White, Jaden Reed, Kyle Pitts, Jameson Williams, Spears Ford, Zeke, Brock Purdy, and Brock Bowers. Double back-to-back Brocks to end the draft.
I mean, I'll say again, like, I like the build. I like the way you drafted, but I'm not taking, like, I'm going Gibbs there. If somebody's going to hand me Gibbs at the 2-2, I'm just going to take Gibbs. That being said, Barkley's fine. You got Harrison, Pickens, Terry, Reed, Jameson at wide receiver. Plenty of upside there. You got Barkley and Rashad White, so you're fine at running back. I'm okay taking Pitts and Bowers because as much as I like Pitts and think Pitts is going to break out, there's still a chance Kyle Pitts does Kyle Pitts things, which is nothing. So, and then I other than Zeke, I like your backup running back. So I think overall, it's if I just looked at your team, like if you just said, "Hey guys, I drafted this team," and I didn't see the rest of the board, I'd be like, "That's a good team." It's just knowing that you took Barkley over Gibbs. I just think I'm not taking Barkley over Gibbs.
Yeah, I'm not worried about Barkley. Actually, I'm a little more worried now, slightly about Rashad White because Bucky Irving seems to be getting a lot of hype, and new OC might mix it up a little bit more. Maybe Rashad White just doesn't get nearly as many touches overall, but where you got him, I think this is really good value. So I like pretty much all the picks on your team, except for Zeke. But yeah, I think this is a pretty good team. But like you said, the only thing is, if I didn't know, teams 3 and 4 were out there, I'd say this was one of the best teams. But it's up there. It should definitely be a playoff team. A lot of upside. And then there's the other John at 12. Went Puka, JT, Zay Flowers, Tank Dell, Lamar Jackson, James Conner, Keon Coleman, Curtis Samuel. Interesting. 2 Bills receivers there. Jonathan Brooks, Dallas Goedert, Tyler Algier, Rashad Bateman, and Elijah Mitchell.
All right. So wide receiver, you got Puka, Zay, Dell, Coleman, Samuel, Bateman. I think that's fine. No issues there. You got JT Connors, your RB2. So again, and Brooks, Algier, Mitchell. Like I don't dislike those guys, but you're gonna need Connor to stay healthy. Connor and JT to stay healthy for a while. You got Lamar's good value. I think Goddard is fine as a late round tight end. So yeah, it's not up there with like those the 4 teams from like 2 to 4, I think it was, or something like that. But it's still a good team.
Exactly. I think this team right now, sort of middle in the pack with the upside to potentially pull away if one of those Bills receivers does thrive. If Brooks is a late season surger, so it's got some potential too. All right, another good draft though. Again, there really aren't any bad teams here. So that's what happens when you practice and you keep doing it. It's sharp. That's the whole point. So you dominate in your actual draft. Of course, the best way to do that also is to get the Draft Lane app. Remember, that app is completely free. Just go to the App Store, the Play Store, and you can download it. You can see our rankings. You can see all your league's standings. They sync with Yahoo and Sleeper. And if you want that draft pilot, be like us right there next to you during the draft, telling you who you should take. Well, it's on there. And of course, during the season, you'll be able to use that to ask questions, even when we're not live streaming, which it's not going to be every single day. You can ask trade questions, waiver wire questions, and a lot more. Trust me, it's a lot of fun. So check it out.
Yep.
All right, guys. Appreciate it. We'll be back for more mock drafting because it's almost here. It's very, very close. What are we, 2 weeks away? Less than 2 weeks.
Less than 2 weeks.
Crazy. All right. Well, if you are drafting this weekend, which I know some of you are, good luck ahead of time. And we'll catch you on the next one.